What's going on, everybody? Welcome into Tennessee Football Talk, giving you an at-home video today because we had a really interesting report and a really interesting conversation happen today on 99.1 The Sports Animal when On3's Chris Lowe joined Josh and Swain and talked about how there might be some changes coming to Tennessee's coaching staff over the next couple of weeks. I'll tell you exactly what he had to say in just a second, but before that, real quick, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We're getting awfully close to 10,000 subscribers. Trying to get there before Christmas. I need your help to do so. Daily videos right here on Tennessee Football Talk, all 100% free. So just lock us in and subscribe down below. So like I said, Chris Lowe, a guy who's been with On3 for, I believe, the past 6 months. I think he joined in the summer with Josh Payton. All those other guys made the move over to On3. But he's been covering college football for a very, very long time. Incredibly connected guy. He went on 99.1 The Sports Animal with Josh and Swain this morning and said, I haven't heard a lot of names. I do think there will be changes, talking about Josh Heupel and this coaching staff. I told you guys that a couple weeks ago. I do think there will be some staff changes, maybe on defense. Everyone is zeroed in on Tim Banks in the defense because they had such a bad year. I do think you'll see some of that. Maybe on offense. I don't know. When you don't have the kind of year you're expected to have, and all the coaches, the good ones, and I think Josh is a good one, they self-scout. Where can we get better? Where do we need to get better? Where are we lacking? What do we need to do to think outside the box a little bit and get where we need to be? I know they're zeroing in on portal additions, but I think he's also doing that right now. And I hope he's doing that. He should be doing that. We've been saying he needs to do that ever since you lost that game by 3 touchdowns to Vanderbilt, where they just could move the ball at will. Up and down the field, like they were a marching band, okay? It looked like they were playing 11 on 7. And frankly, when you've played ranked opponents this year, that's how it's looked all season long. This team has averaged giving up 40 points a game to ranked opponents. Guys, that's not good enough in the SEC. Okay, I get it. Josh Heupel's always going to have a good offense, but giving up 40 points a game against ranked opponents is going to get you nowhere, okay? And I get it, right? After that Vanderbilt game, a lot of people even wanted Josh Heupel to be gone. A lot of people thought it was trying to relieve him of his head coaching duties, move on from him, find somebody else, and start back at square zero. I was never in that camp. I thought that would set you back a little bit too far. You had a great recruiting class coming in. I knew it was never going to happen. It just didn't make sense to me. But I did think, and I still do think, there needs to be something done with the defensive coordinator position. Because my sentiment always was, and you could look back on my instant reaction last Saturday after that Vanderbilt loss. My sentiment always was, if Josh Heupel loses his job in 2 to 3 years and is no longer the head coach of the University of Tennessee, it's going to be because we are looking back to this moment that we are in right now, and he did not do anything. Now, he hasn't done anything yet, so I don't want to give him credit, but I do believe it's a really big development to hear from Chris Lowe that he believes changes are going to be made because they need to be. You need a new defensive mind in here. This isn't year 2 of Tim Banks. This isn't year 3 of Tim Banks. This is year 5. We are done with year 5. Next year will be season 6 of those guys on Rocky Top. You know what this defense is. 40 points a game to ranked opponents. Okay? This year. Last year, you look at your 2 ranked losses. Ohio State put up 42 on you. Georgia, with Carson Beck and a Mike Bobo offense, they were horrible offensively last year. They had put up 31 on you. And so, yeah, you had a great defense last year. But in the biggest moments, in the biggest times, even they were kind of falling apart here and there. Now, it was much better last year over the year. I mean, substantially, exponentially better. But 2024 wasn't enough to save Tim Banks' job, in my opinion. You can't look at 5 years and say, yeah, but there's one good one. Like, shouldn't I keep my job? No, you shouldn't. Because you trended backwards after last season, right? That's the thing. Is right now we're going in the opposite direction, where we don't need to be going. And I get it. Jermon McCoy, Ricky Gibson, they were out for the whole year. But those guys being out does not mean the safeties should be out of position every single play. The linebackers should be out of position every single play. I want a young defensive mind. I want a guy that's going to be on the sidelines. I hate that Tim Banks is in the press box. And I get it, a lot of defensive coordinators are in the press box. I personally would like my defensive coordinator to be on the sideline so that way he can get into somebody's face. I want intensity. I want a leader on that side of the football. I want a guy that isn't scared to coach these guys up. And look, I always tell you, I've got a very interesting and unique look at this program because I've been closer to it than a lot of guys who cover it on this platform. Okay? Got a full season. Josh Heupel's first year working for the football team. I was at practice every single day for 6 months straight. So I've got a really, really good look into this football team and into how these coaches go throughout their business. Now, I like Tim Banks a lot. Tim Banks was a great guy. But I need somebody with a little bit more fire. And I think you all agree with me. And I mean, look at what Mike Norvell is doing at Florida State. Obviously, they had a horrible season, but they're making moves. They're making changes. They just moved on from Pat Surtain Sr. Now, is that a guy I might be interested in? I don't know. I'll have to check it out a little bit more, look into it. I know the Notre Dame's linebackers coach I'm very, very interested in. You'll probably hear me talk a little bit more about that tomorrow. But regardless, I think I'm breathing a sigh of relief hearing that from Chris Lowe that he still believes changes are going to be made. Now, I would have liked them made. I don't know. It's hard to say. The fact that signing day happened this week, it was kind of ridiculous to believe that they were going to happen before you sign that class. I think that's one of those deals that, like, with signing day being so close to the end of the season, because remember, in years past, signing day was supposed to be next Wednesday. So if you want to get a head start on making changes with your coaching staff, you'd probably do it in between there, because if not, you'd have to wait too long. You don't have to wait very, very long. Right? You could fire him tomorrow, a week after your season's over, and get fully through signing day at that point. So I would expect if something changes, if something happens, I would expect it to happen within the next 4 days, probably. Because then the transfer portal opens on January 2nd, and you need to have a defensive coordinator in the building. Now, I would hope that it takes them a little bit quicker to hire a defensive coordinator than it did last time. Not last time we hired a defensive coordinator, but the most recent position opening was the tight end position. And obviously he went able in there, but it took a long time to make that hire. So I think there needs to be a little bit more of a sense of urgency. I want a young guy, a guy that coaches with intensity, a guy who I should be afraid of that he's going to get a head coaching job at a Power 4 program very, very soon. Okay? That's what I want. And I get it. Tim Banks' name circled around last offseason. I don't think any of us really bought into that at all. But anyway, all that to say, I think we're headed in a right direction, and I think it's good for us, ease our minds a little bit, ease my mind at least, that changes should be made soon. Before we go, give you a little bit of a Legend Bay update. We gave you the full rundown yesterday, so if you missed yesterday's video, go ahead and watch it. Quick recap, committed to Tennessee in the summer, flipped to Ohio State about a month ago. Then yesterday came to a signing day, or I guess this was on Tuesday, came to a signing day. His table's decked out in Ohio State gear. He ended up signing with Tennessee. It came out reported that the reason he signed with Tennessee is because his mom would not sign his national letter of intent unless it was with the Volunteers. The reason that is actually even possible is because he's not 18 yet. And then his Twitter got taken over by his brother. It just seemed like a weird situation. Well, somebody made a TikTok about it, right? As people do. And hey, I made a TikTok about it as well. So he commented on that. He said, unfortunately, it's true, but I would like for everyone to give my mom the utmost respect. I turn 18 in 20 days, so it most likely will be Go Bucks. Now, I don't truly know, and nobody does know, the true facts of this situation. It is so weird. It's so strange. Josh Heupel was on the Mike Keith show yesterday, got asked about Legend Bay. Now, I don't think he got asked about him specifically with this story, but just got asked about him. And he was like, yeah, man, he's going to be an awesome guy an awesome weapon in this offense. Can't wait to use him, all this stuff. And it's like, this is just weird. And I had the sentiment yesterday. I had the same sentiment today. If he does not want to go play for Tennessee, let him go play where he wants to go. Okay? Let him go play at Ohio State. Would I rather him play at Tennessee? Yeah, sure. But he's a 17-year-old kid. Let him go play football where he wants to go play football. That's going to do it today for our show. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We'll have another show up tomorrow. I don't even need to say that. We got a show out every day. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media. Like the video. Do all the things we'll do. And we will see you next time.